Brews and Banner Podcast. Brews and Banner Podcast. What up? Welcome to Brews and Banner Podcast. I'm your host, Rob G. And with me, as always, is the Legendary Brew Crew. What up, fellas?
I got water, I got, juice or whatever. Like, y'all need twin legs? Matter of fact, I do.
My question to everybody is,
Does Delaware have an actual culture?
this is the podcast that we talk about beer, but we also talk about a lot of things that's happening in the world, politics, movies, anything really that comes to our mind while we're here sampling these brews. Grab a drink and pull up a chair. We are here on our social distancing series. Before we get too far into it, I need to know what everybody is drinking. So what are we drinking today, y'all?
Who you want to start with, Rob?
You can go ahead.
Oh, all right. Well, Devin Aaron the Great is drinking a mud bank out of Neshaminy Creek. This is a PA beer. Neshaminy is a well-known area of I guess you would say good, well-known landmark in Philadelphia area. This is one of their first beers ever brewed at Neshaminy Creek. So it's a mud bank milk stout. And this is coming in at a 6.5%. Delicious beer. Full, mouth pour. Can't go wrong. If you're not a stout drinker, I think this would be very, very easy on the palate. Simply because it's smooth. Most stouts don't have a lot of head. Some do, like Guinness has a lot of head, but this is definitely pours like I would say like a syrupy pour. You can kind of see me rolling it in the glass here. Super dark, but delicious pour. So cheers, and pass me another to Neshaminy Creek for their mud bank milk stout. Cheers.
Yo, Rob, dumb as shit.
Mm-hmm.
He said, pass me another.
I said the magic word.
I'm talking about before that.
When he said, Guinness got a lot of head.
Yeah, that, our racy words on here always, raises an eyebrow every now and then.
Nah, only when you say
I'm not on my dirty dad today.
It's only when you say it. We won't like it. We won't like it when you say it.
Yo, what you drinking today?
I'm drinking. Oh, I got another left hand. I had a left hand.
What, you got a shelf up there?
I got another left hand. Yeah.
Okay.
This is a chai milk stout nitro. It's a 5%er, not too heavy, but it's pretty good. It's nice and smooth. If it is kind of milky, though I haven't looked to see if it was any lactate in it, but it is definitely you can definitely taste the milkiness to it. But it's pretty good. I would say pass me another on this too.
What's your ABV? What's your ABV over there?
I said 5, Negro.
Did you? Oh, I missed it.
Look what you got.
I went to my namesake, New Belgium, out of Colorado, and they have the Nitro Cold Brew Cream Ale, brewed with high brew coffee out of Colorado. It's a 5% alcohol by volume. You got to pour it upside down to get to all the smells and the feels. But it smells like coffee. It tastes like coffee. But normally there are stouts that they use the coffee with. They use a cream ale, and you could taste the lactose. It tastes like you got cream in your coffee. So okay. It was a pretty good. Pass me another.
Nice. We got three darks. We got 3 darks so far.
Yeah.
Only dark, but this is only dark because of the coffee. It's supposed to be an ale.
Right.
Yeah, so the infusion of the coffee is what actually gives it the darkness.
Right. All right. Now we'll jump into our guests to see what they drinking. What you drinking on?
Drinking on this quarantine.
Right. Unfortunately, I'm not like a big beer drinker like you guys, and not an expert in all of this kind of stuff.
It better not be.
We not either.
I don't know. Right?
Nothing that you heard was
I'm totally
cringing. I'm cringing right now.
Vodka, right? I only drink Stoli vodka, but today, because of the show, I'm doing an IPA, just a regular.
Oh, is that a 60-minute?
Doing a regular little.
Okay.
There you go.
6%.
Good pour. Good choice.
This is the second time I actually drank an IPA. The only other IPA I drank was from my man Chill Moody. I don't know if y'all heard of him. So
Yeah, the rapper, right?
Yeah, he brews his
Yeah.
own IPA. Brewed in
nice.
Philadelphia called Nice Things IPA. That's the only
Okay.
IPA I ever drink. So this is my
Oh,
second.
okay.
We gotta make that connection.
Yeah, gotta get some.
Al, so we can have him on here and
Yeah.
bring that beer to light. You know?
Absolutely, it's
For
great
sure,
too.
for sure.
It's real good.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
All right,
Good
Harlan, what you
choice.
got?
Good choice.
I was struggling, guys. I wasn't sure which one I wanted to go with. So somewhere in between this Swishy Pants IPA by Dewey Beer Company. Dewey Beer Company is a restaurant and brewery down in Dewey Beach.
Right.
So I started to go that route, but then I realized, in reading the can, I didn't really want to end up with Swishy Pants. Not on Sunday. So I went ahead and went with the Mambo Mode by Pariah, another double IPA.
Ooh.
It's kind of like a Tahitian treat version of an IPA here. So
Okay.
I'm gonna rock with this for as long as I can, and if things get a little out of hand, I'll switch over to the Swishy Pants.
Hey, guys,
No,
what's the
what else you got
percentage?
to do?
Al, what's the percentage on yours? And Harlan, what's the percentage on yours?
ABV, yeah.
My joint is 6%.
Good.
Okay.
Okay.
And swaying in at 8.1.
Damn.
Okay.
All right.
That's
about
the
to-
Mama Mode. That's 8.1.
Yeah,
Or the
Mambo
Swishy?
Mode's 8.1.
Oh,
The
8.1.
Swishy is 7.5.
Damn.
Okay.
Don't drink both of them.
Oh no, that's all above average. He
It's
needs to stay
quarantine,
above
baby.
that 6.
It's fine. It's fine. It's Easter Sunday. It's okay.
That's true.
Okay. All right.
All right.
More reason to.
And Finn, what you drinking on today?
Yeah, I got some stuff from the local boys from Baltimore. Name of the beers, it's pronounced Peabody.
Biddy. Okay.
Collab beer from Peabody Heights and Whitey's Liquor Store. Whitey's is a Boston dude, so they kind of have a play on words for, everything. So
Okay.
it says Peabody, which is funny, but it's a double dry hop New England IPA coming in at 7.2, I believe. So
Good
pretty
stuff.
solid hazy boy. Nice citrus vibe and smell on it. Good weight when you're drinking it. So I'm a big fan of it.
Okay.
Hey,
All
Finn,
right.
Finn, real quick, what's your beer style of choice?
Ooh, I actually do like darker beers. So like, I like a spicy stout, honestly. So either like Imperial spicy stout or a porter. I'll drink a few Belgiums too. So, but I've had a bunch of heavy beers. So, and because I try everything, I switch it up. So.
Good.
All right. And I guess last but not least, I am drinking on Bellefonte Brewery. I got the Big Wonder IPA with no other than Joe Bob the
Joe
brewer
Bob on it.
No
Yo,
Bob
wow.
on there. Is
He always
on
trying to be on the can, yo.
You've been on a lot of cans, man.
Right, that's what I
Oh, yo,
said. Like,
Remember
You've been
his
on a lot of
artist,
cans.
that artist that he hired to do a lot of his stuff in his spot. She probably did that too.
Yeah. Well, yeah, she does all
She
the
definitely
artwork.
Does his art.
She captures
Yeah.
his likeness. That's exactly what Joe Bob looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Joe
is.
Bob was a
Exactly.
cartoon
Yo,
character.
that beard on Joe Bob is always it struck me by surprise when I met him.
Yeah.
I wonder how he's doing in the quarantine. Is he handling that on his own?
Well, no, they brewing
They
all the
still
time.
brewing,
I'm
yeah.
talking about his main
Oh,
his
beard?
beard.
Yeah, he probably was doing that by himself anyway.
Y'all
All
dumb.
And it's an IPA. It's a nice golden color.
Look at
It's not hazy, and I got it in my
That's a nice glass.
Weathered Souls glass as well.
See.
That's a nice glass.
Yeah.
Yo,
That's
you know
nice
what's
glass.
crazy? I couldn't even show you what mine looked like because my beer was going by the time it got to me to tell about it.
You got one can.
You only got one can?
Yo, I bought one can upstairs. I ain't going back down.
Dang.
I got my ginger beer on the side though.
Oh, I didn't say, but
You
I
want
do
to
want to
talk about
pass
your
me
ginger
another on this as well.
Okay.
Shout out to Bellefonte. Yeah.
I got just
Nigga,
real.
they,
Just,
they ain't giving you no extra shit.
They sure enough ain't.
hey, I get
This is
hey,
what
as
ginger
an employee that's been furloughed, you do get some benefits.
I heard that.
all right.
I heard that.
Upstairs on the upper level, I'm drinking that ambiguous interest by Wilmington Brew Works, the Crowler you got me.
Yo,
Rob, for my birthday.
they literally have some of the great names, yo.
Yeah.
That's a
Well,
great
that's-
ass name.
That's their thing. That's what he
Yeah.
said when we did them. They're
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm just re-emphasizing for those
Just
of them that
emphasizing
have.
that.
Yeah,
So that's
they
what I'm
have
drinking
some great
upstairs. But for the podcast, I'm drinking this stout right now. So
That's what you're drinking upstairs, but downstairs you're drinking something different. Okay, there's levels
And
to
look,
it.
and if I run out,
Yo, that's because you know you can only take a certain kind of beer in the bathroom.
that's what they say about my backdrop. Look like I'm on the shitter.
And it would, because what's the guy from Fox 29? He actually does his cast from the bathroom. So
yeah, but
his
bathroom lit like a motherfucker though.
It is.
What you think? I should re-wallpaper in here then, Yoda? What you want me to re-wallpaper?
I don't know.
He got like art on
this nigga got art. He got a couch in that motherfucker.
He got a big ass bathroom.
He redesigned his bathroom so he can social
I
distance.
think Thomas Drayton's bathroom is like that all the time.
He's taking advantage of the opportunity.
Yeah, he wanted to show off.
That's what he did.
Look at that, son.
Right.
I shit in here.
I got a lounge for a bathroom.
All right. Like I said, we do have 3 illustrious guests with us today, as well
Illustrious. Okay. That sounds a little like Soul Glow-ish, like.
Yeah, that's all right. You got your soul.
That's more luxurious, really.
Yeah, illustrious.
Illustrious. I think I used the word last week. I think everybody comes through and blesses the podcast. Got good choice. So,
Hey,
Right.
good taste.
hey, that's why it's
They
called
knew where to
Bruising
hang.
Banter, because we clown all day long.
You're right,
All
Rob.
right.
They knew exactly where to hang. I like illustrious. They're illustrious.
Yes.
Keep,
Yeah,
keep it going.
They could be whatever they want, man.
I'm digging the Soul Glow thing anyway, man.
Yeah, the Soul Glow. I mean, hey, you had
Says one of the guys with no hair.
up earlier, and sure enough, definitely had his drip going on.
I remember.
Up at Jackson Heights, someone Randy Wax, and you got to be one or the other, man.
Exactly.
All the way sexual chocolate.
That's funny. The bald guy says that.
But see, Soul Glow can mean a lot of things though, because it can mean.
But not in this terms.
Nah, but remember the karate? What was the
He got the glow.
Yeah,
That was like kind of the Soul Glow.
Oh, Bruce Leroy. Bruce Leroy.
So
I need to watch
Dragon.
that. I need to watch
Yeah,
that
Last
classic tonight.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I need to.
Definitely should. You definitely should.
Oh, I have it on DVD, so that shows you. I mean, I'm a fan. I got that out of the $5 bin at Walmart.
That's a
I
come
had to
up.
have that.
I think I bought that a while ago. I bought
It's at
that a
least
while
worth
ago.
10.
No, it's I think I got out the $5 bin from Walmart
Yeah.
too.
I would have paid 10, so that's a good come up.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good buy. I bought one for me and bought one for Brandon and gave it to him in his Christmas in his stocking.
Right.
Yo, here, take this.
No, I think I'm gonna watch Harlem Nights on Netflix tonight.
Oh man.
I
When I found out,
pinky toe.
Yo,
when I
watched
found
that
out it
about
was
30
on there,
times.
I was like, yo, I need
let me
that.
ask our guests can answer first before we introduce them.
Hey, we ain't got that for you.
No, we ain't get that far.
No, we just
I've been trying to catch up on this Insecure and binging it.
It's a great show.
Everybody likes Insecure?
Who doesn't
I
like
would
this?
say I would say I watch it.
Pass.
I would say I watch it. I can't say this a
Yes.
a
Yes.
great
What y'all
show.
think?
It's
It's a
good.
great show.
Nah, I'll pass.
It is a great show.
I haven't got to it yet, so
I haven't gotten to it.
Oh, that's why he said he passed, because he didn't even watch the
Nah,
first.
somebody else said they passed.
No,
Nah, it was me.
Harlan
I
said he
I
passed.
Yeah, I'm a pass.
Yeah, Harlan said
Nah.
he passed, and Phin said he hasn't gotten to it. What about?
I mean,
what'd
I
you say?
did Yvonne Orgy, but yeah, I'll pass.
That's good. I enjoy the show.
Yeah, me too.
So y'all looking forward to tonight?
Oh, hey.
Yeah. I represent.
I actually got HBO back just for that shit.
Nah, HBO costs too fucking much money. I'm not fucking with HBO.
It's free right now.
All my other apps is like $5.99, $6.99. Fuck HBO. They want $15.
facts.
Fuck that shit. All right,
I
price
HBO and
that shit.
Epics are free right now, man. You got to take advantage of that during the quarantine.
Yeah.
But I think that series or something is not included. Adrian was looking up the link or something, and it's like on certain classics.
Boom, 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 boom.
They limited it to
terrible.
like classic stuff. I'm like,
Yeah, I think
yeah, they
yeah,
are.
I-
Like
The
we read
Wire
the
or
fine
something like
print.
yeah. But
It was crazy.
I support. I try to support Issa Rae and Prentice Penny because I enjoy their work. I watched this show when it was on. I forget what channel it was on, but he had like a lifestyle show on. I don't know. He was trying to tell you how to be fly on a budget or something like that.
I remember that show. It was like on a regular cable network, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think my deep-rooted issue has nothing to do with Insecure itself. It's just the fact that HBO as a network has been known to basically play a lot of the same fucking reruns as a premium channel. And in terms of content in general, they don't produce great like series and stuff like that. They come and go. But in terms of overall, like, you paying all this money for this premium channel, and in terms of their guide, they're running the same shit all.
I had to disagree, because HBO has out of like Cinemax, Showtime, HBO, they got the best shows that come out.
Well, that's why they got the higher price. That's probably cost the most.
Cinemax and Showtime, they just running movies. They don't have no original content, really. Their original
Cinemax does have the original content. It's just what kind of original content you into.
Right, it's not as good as HBO. HBO is a better network, because they have better original programming, and they always give you the movies that are the most popular.
Well, Stars gives you good movies,
but their original content is just Power.
Yeah,
what's their original content besides Power?
They got
some other ones. They have other ones.
Remorse was on there. They got a lot.
Is it Rival in the Wire, Sopranos?
No.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, HBO is the #1 network.
Was Ballers on HBO, or was that Stars? That was Ballers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it?
All your favorite shows
are
probably on HBO.
Yeah.
It's fine. What was you gonna say, Al?
No, I was gonna say, what premium channel does Black Monday come on? Do y'all watch that? Like
Showtime.
Oh.
Showtime.
Showtime.
Showtime's all right. So like
that's good. That's a good show, Al.
On that channel, right? What's that?
What else?
That's a good show.
What? Black Monday? Yeah, that's dope. What channel does Billions come on?
Showtime.
Showtime.
Well, but I mean, they can't top it.
Yeah, but HBO and Showtime are probably the best in terms of original content.
Right.
Because Showtime had like Californication at one point. They had
that was a good show.
Nurse Jackie.
Californication.
I watched that too. Yeah.
They're all the same shit, though, ain't they? Ain't they all?
What was the?
I think they are the same company.
It's a different type of addiction.
Yeah, what was the FBI show that used to come on?
It still come on. Homeland still come on. That's
Homeland.
Showtime.
I like Homeland.
That's Showtime. Showtime and HBO are, I think, under the same umbrella. So I think they are
really
kind of the same people. I think they all are. I think they all.
And what's the other one with the crazy white guy who he's the director, but he's also the star in the show? Shameless. Yeah, that's good content there. That's funny.
Yeah, Showtime and HBO do the content, right? Stars is hit or miss with their content. I mean, they do try to do better first run movies in terms of what they do than like Showtime. Like Showtime don't really do like they premieres. Like you see a lot of old movies on Showtime, but they do got the
and I mean HBO. They don't want to bundle with nobody. When you go to these premium channels and stuff, it's like we ain't gonna turn it into an HBO bash, but they don't never want to bundle with nobody. You got you get a Stars pack, you get the Showtime, you can get them all like under like maybe for $19 or whatever. It's like, okay, I get a couple channels out of it.
They know they better.
If is even going is moving away from HBO.
But then at the end of the day, this is all like a dying medium, if you ask me. With more content creators creating their own content, distributing it themselves. It's like, who cares? After like another year or so, it's not going to be no HBO, Showtime, and all of that. In my
opinion.
You know what I mean?
It'll be funny.
Smarter.
I think it'll be funny when YouTube starts making stuff.
Yeah,
they are now.
Yeah,
they just haven't gotten there yet, but pretty soon they're going to be there. And
they did some like Karate Kid. They did some Karate Kid shit. It was halfway decent.
Like Issa Rae show y'all was talking about. Insecure is coming on HBO, but Issa Rae started on the internet.
She did.
If you wanted to go back now, HBO. What's the point? You know what I mean? You got the built-in fan base, so definitely, I'm independent.
All day long, independent.
All independence,
Exactly.
Segue. So while we drop since he did start in his independent bag, we can go with CEO to tell us a little bit about himself.
Ari Gold.
Ari Gold 215.
Gold.
Ari Gold from Entourage.
Entourage. That's my movie too. That's my show.
Yeah,
that's HBO.
One of my favorites. But so I guess to introduce myself, my real name is Alan Stokes. They call me Ari Gold 215. I co-own an independent record label called Global Recording Group. There we put out our own music. We also do music management and a little bit of licensing. I have a couple of artists. I have 5 Grand Life. Well, his name is 5 Grand, but on Twitter and Instagram it's 5 Grand Life. Got Glorious Sin. I got a cat named August, and I'm currently negotiating a deal for a 14-year-old pop star out of Texas. Her name is Zoe Blair, and I'm all about the independence, man. I'm just one of those guys that just like the independent spirit. I'm pushing all of this stuff independently. One of my hashtags is "fuck the majors." That's just kind of how I am. That's how I move out here. So
how you move.
That's rude.
Yeah. I mean, I came from a major label system, so you know.
You learned the ins and outs, and then you found your way.
Yeah, I found my way. Did a little bit of stuff with Rough Nation and Warner Brothers, and prior to that, when I was in school, So Def and Virgin Records back in the day. So I kind of know how they move. So
yeah,
I don't like the system. So
hey, no, I'm with you.
Yeah.
So I just learned over time that hey, independent was the way to go. Distribution is dope, through these majors, but independent is definitely where it's at.
Distribution was dope.
Was the way.
At one point in time. But nowadays with the internet and everybody just kind of putting the stuff out.
You don't even need it.
You don't even need it. I mean, you guys are here. When was the last time you probably watched MTV Jams? If y'all ever watch videos, if y'all look,
I used to love MTV Jams.
I used to love it. That used to be my Saturday.
I don't watch the shit now though.
Yeah, exactly. When was the last time you just turned on the radio and discovered new music?
Not really. I'm through my iTunes and your apps and other venues, other vessels.
Exactly. So there you go. No point in being on the pages anymore. You know what I mean?
Well, it was kind of like that thing you posted yesterday from Wallow where it said the guy just did what he did. He came out of prison, got his phone, and just went and recorded something and made content, and people came to him. So when I saw that, I was like, I can relate to that. Just doing it, stop thinking too much, and just going out there and make. I mean, you're gonna make mistakes, but hey, a lot of people, everybody makes mistakes. It's just how you push through them. So I was like, well, that's good advice for anything.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, all content ain't gonna be good content. You learn that by listening to a whole album. It's like, okay, which one was the space fillers.
But I mean, look, even if you go back to Issa Rae, like if you ever watched her
Opera Black Girl,
it wasn't that great, but it was good enough to get on the radar of the executive at HBO, which in return gave her some money and gave her a show. So I mean, it's on the job training, right? Just go, So
right. Well, so since we got a independent record label owner here, let me find out about what your take is on the controversy. It's always been a controversy. Is Chance the Rapper independent?
That's a very good question, right? So, my answer would be I don't think so.
No, I don't think so either.
I think he's independent in the sense of like he's creating, his content himself and all of that kind of stuff. But there's definitely some type of major
huge backing.
I've never seen an independent artist go that far with just themselves and
just themselves.
Then I mean, you go into a whole bunch of different stuff because they say like Chance the Rapper's dad worked with like Obama. And
he's politics. He's got the politics.
There's a big bag behind there somewhere.
Yeah, big money.
Right. And I'm not hating because I don't have that kind of money.
Hey, I hate not at all.
Sometimes it could just be the connection. I mean, if he got Obama, or at least Obama adjacent, you got a lot of doors opening that wouldn't open for a lot of people, for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
But to that scale, I mean, for him to be able to just do a deal with Apple where he was just like giving out the album for free, like, I mean, I have stuff on Apple and I've talked to people at Apple as far as distribution and that kind of stuff goes, but they never offered any of us anything like that. So I don't, it's
there's more of that backing of major connections, major label.
Yeah. He has a good presentation too, so I could see people being like, "Oh, we can make money off that." So for sure,
kind of being that poster child, that token.
Yeah.
But
he's wholesome, but not wholesome. Like some of the songs would be like,
Yeah, he's having so many backgrounds. He'll be on Easter Sunday, and then he'll be at Mardi Gras. Like he's got to cover all the spectrums.
All right. So
your grandmama love him, and so does your daughter.
Right.
That's tough. That's hard to do.
Yeah.
He makes music for a lot of people, and I think that is always good. In terms of projects you're working on now, what do you have in the works? Or I know this probably throws a wrench in a lot of stuff, but
yeah. So right now, my main focus is my new signing, which is Zoe Blair. Like I said, she's a 13-year-old pop star out of Texas. I actually met her mother maybe 4 or 5 years ago at the Grammys. Her mom was in the music business. She used to work with like Katy Perry, a couple of different pop artists, and we just kind of kept in touch over the years. And recently, I want to say last year sometime, she called me and she said, "Look, Zoe's doing some music. I wanted to get a little bit of a hip hop feel. I wanted to go a little bit different than just the straight pop lane." And she gave me the opportunity to work with her. So primarily, that's my focus right now, just getting her stuff together. We cut like 4 records on her. We're doing just like some type of like joint venture deals with like a couple of different companies to just kind of get some money together to kind
Promoting
of
and stuff.
and get it out. Yeah.
Advertise, yeah.
Advertising and stuff. So
Good.
she's been doing like during Christmas holidays, she's been singing at like Nordstrom's, like the different Nordstroms in the area or whatever. And we're just trying to get some money from them to just go forward with her project. So
good.
That's pretty much what we're doing.
Man.
But I would definitely say it won't take because to get her the big deal that she needs, because she's young, she's white, not to be like that, but she's young, she's white.
To be like
Yeah,
that.
she's cut out. She's cookie cutter. She's cookie cutter for mainstream.
She's a better version of Taylor Swift at that age. So.
Well, okay.
Now does she write and
She
all that stuff too?
She doesn't write. So that was the biggest problem when we got her up here. I had to hire writers to go in the studio with her. So
yeah,
okay,
it's costing us so much money, and it's taking a little bit more time to get her together. I mean, like her mom handles everything as far as her image and styling and all that kind of stuff, and they do really, really good. And you'll check her out. It's at Zoe Blair Music on Instagram.
Okay.
Yeah, she doesn't write anything, so it's
is Zoe ZOE or ZHOE?
It's ZOE. Zoe Music, yeah.
Now, all right, let me ask you a question. Like, I know a lot of people here, they know about the difference between the major labels and the independent, but can you explain to like the people listening and watching, like what is the difference between a major label and going independent as far as the artist is concerned and as far as what you actually do?
Okay, so well, if you're on a major, that just basically means you signed a major record label. I mean, major contract with one of the major record labels. So I mean, there's several of them that are out there: Universal Music, Sony, Columbia. You pick one, and it's a bunch of subsidiaries under. Independent means you're completely doing everything by yourself. So you're funding your own studio sessions, you're shooting your own videos, you're doing all your marketing promotion, you're distributing your own product and getting it to the masses the best way that you can. If you're an artist, the advantages of being on a major label is they tend to have a lot more money. You're doing promo tours, they're paying for it. You're going in the studio, they're paying for it. You're hiring different producers, different writers, they're paying for it. And the way I look at it is the major labels are nothing but like a big bank loan. You know,
they're a big bank loan.
Big bank loan, right?
That's debt. That's debt adding up.
Yeah,
you said they're paying for it, but they're actually not. You're paying them back.
You're paying for it. It's eventually
you're paying for it.
I think a lot of artists back in the day fell in love with the idea of being on a major because anytime they needed anything, they could just pick up the phone and get the check, right? And not even thinking like, "Dad, I gotta pay this back," because you're riding, right? You drive all across the country. You care less. You're eating good. Your team's eating good. Everybody's great.
Those are all expenses.
It's all expenses, and then you pay it back with your record sales when they come back. When they come out, you have to pay it back with your record sales. So ultimately, you won't make as much money as you would independently because once you recoup independently, everything that you get is yours per se.
Right.
I mean, you're going to break it down with the
have some
independent
costs.
Yeah, but for the most part, you're going to make some money. With the major labels, you tend to not make money like over your entire career. You just get a lot of free money. So, you know.
Right.
Now, isn't there? If I'm correct, Al, like that's why they would say that like a lot of people that are artists that are on major labels, they make a lot of money off of their tours because versus their record sales. Is that correct?
They did because the management normally sets up the tours. and that money is pretty much you're taking money out of your pocket to kind of put on a tour for the most part. Maybe you'll get a corporate sponsor here and there that give you some money towards the tour, and then everything that you would get would be yours. So everybody used to go on the road to make money, but nowadays record labels, they do what they call 360 deals.
Right.
They're putting up so much money that they're taking a piece of everything, including
everything.
Right.
Yeah, they realized there was money to be made. They want their hand in every bucket.
Right. Well,
you got to kind of blame Jay-Z on that one, though.
Rightfully so, because you think about it like this: if I'm putting together a project and I'm spending $1 million, I want to make money off of every piece of that project that's out because I'm spending $1 million, right? So, and we're promoting you, and you're getting hot, and then you're going on a tour, but you're really going on a tour on the strength of us because we paid $1 million for you to leverage. Yeah. So rightfully so, they want a piece of that. Before they didn't take any part of that, but.
Right. Because I read an article about that. They were saying like Jay-Z was like one of the ones who did the 360 deals, but it was like artists like that can pull it off because they can afford like Jay-Z, Madonna's. Yeah, you got to be like that level to really make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Here's another question I did have. Like, where does like Empire fall as a term? Is that a major, or is that an independent, or is that like just distribution?
Yeah, so they're like an independent distribution company. That's guys, those guys. So if you're like me and you got like a hot like independent record that's doing all right, you want to go
same background.
Yeah. If you're like me and you got like a hot little independent record that's doing okay, you want to go make a deal with like Ghazi and them over at Empire, and they're able to distribute your record. They're like a small distribution company, kind of like I don't know if you ever heard of this company called like Human Resources, J. Irvin.
Right.
Like they kind of function the same kind of way. They're like that step before you go to the major record labels.
Yeah.
Right. Because I see them all every time I look at a new artist now. It all say Empire.
Empire. They're launching a lot of guys. I know P&B rocked at one point in time early on when he did the Fleek single.
Every day we lit.
The Fleek single with Empire, and then it sold a lot of records, and then they ended up doing a deal with Atlantic. So.
All right. Any other questions for Mr. Stokes?
Nah, that nigga time's up.
Yeah.
That's my boy though. That's my boy.
I'm sure we can jump back into it in terms of if you have any questions about music, because we do have a name that 90s hip hop.
Yo, we shouldn't even had him on here though. Al was supposed to be on the podcast a long time ago. He was there when we were talking about the damn podcast.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, man. I guess I was busy or something, man.
Yeah,
man, moving around.
We got a lot of extended family on this week's podcast.
Yeah, man. I'm moving around a lot, man.
Yeah.
It's all right.
There's a lot of intermingled circles and stuff on here today.
All right. Well, we appreciate you jumping on and blessing us with the insider music biz knowledge.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And letting us know all the. All right, now we got to look out for Zoe as well.
Yeah, definitely look out for Zoe. She's gonna be the next big thing, I think.
All right.
And that's just not me just talking. It's been a while. I hit or miss with a lot of different artists, but with this one, I feel really, really good about. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
Keep on working, man. Good luck.
I'm sorry. I did have another thing because I did have one question because in terms of independence and independent and just being in the quarantine, we see a lot of artists jumping on IG Live, even like the versus battles and stuff like that. So do you see that as like the future in terms of just cutting out the middleman and just going straight to?
Yeah. So right now, as far as not just the music business, I just think about content business in general. It's just an interesting time because we're rewriting the rules of how we're going to be consuming content right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, before, of course, Instagram Live was always there, but we never really paid too much attention to it.
Right.
Now the artists are starting to realize, I can really, I guess, put my group of people that follow me together. Like I have the ability to just reach out to everybody outside of the major record labels. Right. So now I think what's going to happen is you're going to start to see a lot of artists do a lot of like independent stuff because the majors have nothing to do with you being in the house and picking up your phone and talking to 250,000 people or 500,000 people. And, I was looking at like y'all talking about Tory Lanez. He was going crazy with the quarantine radio.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't even know he was putting out an album. And then next thing you see, like the album cover, he's like, I'm dropping New Toronto, whatever. And then yesterday I seen like he got the merch for it with the quarantine. And that's all him. You know what I mean? So And then an even better example, and I'm sorry to take up so much time. I get really passionate about this stuff, but
nah, it's good.
Good, man. No
yeah, I know
worries.
you got other guests though. I want to make sure everybody, you know, gets a chance to talk.
And just to flip back over to, you know, I know you said it early in the segment that, you know, in terms of your interest in beer hasn't, you know, your palate isn't expandable. You know, we'll help you kind of cross over to that that special brew or craft brew.
Yeah.
I used to be that, you know, that Heineken drinker, that you know, that Stella's, you know, or Trois, which, you know, all of those kind of mainstream beers, but there's a lot of just great pours out there. So
Man, I didn't start drinking beer until this podcast.
Oh, really? Okay, so I'm not too late, right?
yeah, you're not too late to the party.
Well,
Yeah,
like you said,
I started a
forget
little
the
while ago.
majors.
Like I said, my man Chill Moody, another artist y'all should check out. I did a lot of consulting work with him before. But yeah, he brews a beer, IPA, and it's amazing, you know. So
Yeah.
We want to talk to him.
Yeah.
All right.
Y'all got to get him on the show because he's
Good.
into the beers real heavy, and he could tell you
All right.
good stuff. Yeah,
That's what's up.
4 different flavors of his Nice Things IPA. So yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. Appreciate it, Mr. Stokes.
Yeah.
I guess we're gonna continue on to another one of our illustrious guests.
Another one of our illustrious guests.
Who's our second for the day?
I guess we'll go with Mr. Roberts.
That's some
How
ignorant
are you,
shit,
sir?
Bob. That is some ignorant shit. You're gonna have me go after Ari. And fuck major labels. Fuck
They're gonna be like,
staff,
Skip.
label and the crew.
No, we should have made him.
You're gonna have me go next, man.
He's trying to
That is
downplay.
foul,
He's
man.
fascinating. He'd be
He's
everywhere.
a fascinating guy too.
Listen to what he's talking
I
about.
don't believe it. I don't believe
Oh,
it.
man.
Chilling in
Last
South
week
Africa.
on here, we're amongst the greats. We're amongst the greats. We
Be like,
we,
yeah, I'm just going to South Africa for the week. I'm good.
yeah, you
Oh,
like in
then I
every
gotta-
other country, every other weekend.
Then I
Like,
gotta
come
go.
on,
I
every
gotta go
other
to
weekend.
Switzerland.
Nah, I'm like the
Meanwhile, I
big
never
the
leave.
brew for Mr. Show, man. That's it.
Meanwhile, I never
No.
been in none of them places.
My passport about to expire with one stamp. Only passport
See,
stamp.
last time me and Rob was at his house, where you bring us cigar? Would you give us cigars from? Cuba?
Exactly.
Yeah, I think I gave
Yeah.
y'all some Bahiques, right?
So Rob,
Yeah.
introduce him as world traveler.
Yeah,
Yeah,
world
he's
traveler. He's like the world
international-
traveler.
It is International
Oh.
Harlan Roberts on the podcast.
He
Indeed,
is
indeed.
internationally known.
Right.
Right. The Shogun of
Yeah.
Harlem.
The Shogun.
Absolutely.
That's right. It was earlier.
Yeah.
Shogun was up there.
Yeah, man. The funny thing is the question about when did you get into beer? It literally was the Brews and Banter podcast. So I have all of you gentlemen to thank for that.
Hey, cheers to that.
There you go.
Raise your glasses,
Listen to,
gentlemen.
I get y'all
There you
that. Next.
Cheers, bro.
Listening to the first episode, although there was some questionable judgment around some of the music and favorites that were picked and whatnot, I'm not going to hold that against anybody. But
Right. That's been a long time ago, huh?
I
Yeah,
don't even
man, it's
remember.
what
I
I
don't
did
even
at
remember the
this
first episode.
You know what topics he talk about of
He
music.
talk about Thuggish Rugged's Bone. I'm
Those
sure.
bone thugs.
Oh man, you better get the fuck out.
Freaking
You better get out of here.
rappers.
We didn't
Beach
go.
99.
We not about to do that shit.
You want to talk about East 99
We not
again?
about to do that shit. Skip. Next subject.
Right.
Harlan, just answer this. Top 10 or not? Yes or no?
Top 10? We giving them top 10? That's a wide
Yo.
range.
First of all, whose top 10 is wrong though? Like what the fuck? Like,
I'm talking about his. It's all your opinions. Like they
I
ain't
thought it
give
was top
1.
5.
That's
We
what
said
I'm saying.
top 5
Top
originally,
5.
Lou.
Top 5 group, right? Are they a top 5
Rap.
group? Yes or no?
Rap. Of rap.
Bone Thugs?
Yeah, yes or no? That's it.
No.
No.
Top 5 rap group.
Top 5 rap. No.
well, he don't know. It's fine.
Wait, Bone Thugs and top 5 rap groups? Or like all
Yeah.
time?
Wait, yes or no?
Okay.
Yes or no?
That's all he can say is okay.
Ben,
It's fine. It's
you
fine.
the Thugs, top 5 group in your opinion?
Nah.
All right,
It's fine.
Nah.
we moving on. Go ahead. Keep on interviewing Harlan.
And I'm still right. It's
Yeah,
fine.
yeah. We'll continue with the international Don himself.
Got emotional, man. Damn. I mean, you know, they're probably a great group. It's just that I probably, in my mind, I have 5 groups that I would hold in higher esteem. That's all.
But now that you said that, you got to name the top 5 groups higher than them.
Oh, okay. We're going to go off on that, huh, Rob?
I mean.
Yep, you can't enable them. All right, let's move on. You put Dipset in front of man. Let's move on.
Man. That's number 1.
Any day.
If you disagree, you just hate it, man.
Yo, I love Dipset. I love Dipset.
Dipset over Bone Thugs.
Yes, we're not talking about all that international crowd shit you talking that they were pushed by the majors to be out there. Their shit is not that great. They've had like 3 songs.
So you put in.
How many Dipset got?
I know more Dipset shit. Like
you do not.
You can't even say the name of the group, dog.
I know more.
I know more Dipset shit than I know Bone Thugs.
I will say, I can't put Dipset over Bone Thugs.
Nah, you can't.
I'm not a Bone Thugs fan. But we did a show with Bone Thugs with one of my artists that I had, and this is 20 years after the hottest period of Bone Thugs. And that song was sold out. Like people standing outside.
That was their point. That was their point.
That was their point.
Okay. Yeah, in that case.
But you know, like I told them, Biggie crushed them on their record. Well, there was them on. They were on Biggie's track, but Biggie dusted them on that record.
It's a song.
Bone and Biggie.
Probably 2 things. Biggie Biggie called them up and said, "Yo, you high, bro? Can y'all come on? We want to do your style. I want what you want."
But he stepped out of his lane, went into their flow, and
why are we doing this?
It was on his record. He's supposed to star on his record.
Look at Humble Harlan. Humble Harlan started this.
now this nigga's just spinning in his chair. Look what I did.
That's like if you twist her, that's if you twist her. You twist her for that, for that style of rap that he's delivering. Like that's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
but he went to their lane and still said.
But you can also go. But I bet you can also say that Cannabis probably went in there, thought he killed it, and then LL said, "You know what? He did kill me on that record. Because he went back and said, let me re-record my track because he murdered me on the beginning."
LL actually did that. We don't know that Big went back.
Biggie did that.
He tried to link the 2 together.
It was his track, so he can go back as many times.
That's a far reach.
That's a reach. That is a reach.
He can go every time.
I don't know if that's.
You know for a fact that LL did that, so you try to connect the Biggie doing that. Come on,
because
that's a reach.
You can do that. If you go, if somebody, because especially Puff and Puff said, "Yo, you can't let Bone Thugs come in here and kill you, Big. Go back in there, grit that record right."
Yo, kick Harlan out the room.
He definitely started something. He definitely started.
All right. We'll move on this.
Right. Enough of this.
I probably should have asked him for his top 5, especially when he won't Dipset.
You're going to say
he lost all authority.
After he said Dipset, we ain't let him name no more after Dipset. After he named Dipset, no more.
Harlan, Dipset is number 6 on the list.
Dipset's like number nothing going.
Definitely not.
I would, like I said, so you're going to throw you're gonna throw Bone Thugs over top of Tribe Called Quest?
Nope.
Never.
NWA.
I would.
Never.
Maybe not over
There's
NWA.
no Bone Thugs without like Easy.
Without those. Without them.
You said what?
There's no Bone Thugs without NWA and Eazy-E. I mean,
right.
So that's who we gotta blame then.
We argued
that's who we gotta
blame.
Dig Eazy-E ass up and tell him that he was wrong for that, man. So now
what
the
is he
whole
wrong
world
for?
Nigga, you wrong for that. For saying dig him
The
up.
whole world got the whole thing out of order, man.
It did though. It put harmony in hip hop, so you wouldn't have 50, you wouldn't have Ja Rule.
You would have Drake right now,
or nobody else that came
after. Nobody. None of these
Rich
niggas
Homie Quan.
You wouldn't have Rich Homie
definitely was
Quan.
before their time. I think Bone Thugs was before their time.
Yeah,
and Harlan know he was like boom, 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 boom.
But I think
he was doing it when that thing dropped.
How this whole Bone Thugs discussion got started is because way after the fact, when Bone Thugs came on, they came on either on some social media platform. It was like which I forget which one of them it was. Was it Crazy Bone who was like, we the best that ever done it. We the best rap group of all time.
It
Whatever.
was back when they was beefing with
Quavo and them, right?
Migos.
Yeah.
It was like they was beefing.
Conversation start over like the King, like when Jacqueezy was
Yeah.
and then we changed.
Once he declared himself King of R&B, everybody just said, "No, but I'm the King of rap. I'm the King of hip hop. I'm the King of rap."
Right.
So
and then we went on like a
2-hour
talk about how Bone and Thugs,
somehow.
All right. Well,
hey man, I tell you what, man. You guys have been spot on with your beer selections, though.
Yeah, there you go. Beer selection is better than music, is what he said.
Yeah.
There you go.
So that tangent came out of the fact that the Brews and Banner podcast birthed the beer traveler. Yeah, the beer kind of.
What else is up? Each one teach one.
Yo, his Harlan's liquor store, they own it, bro. Like they're in terms of their choices and their selections of independent brews, like they got it all, man.
Right,
What's the name of it? Shout out to them. I follow them now, but I can't even think of their name of it off the top, Harlan. What's the name
I don't think they paid y'all any ad money, man.
I was about to say he be
They're good for that shit. He was
shout
out everybody.
All right.
All right.
Eventually it'll come. You drop it once, they be like, yo.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
or at least shoot you some beer, right?
Right. Well, let's get back into Harlan. I know he does the whiskey thing. He does, and what you do. So you don't have to just talk about what you're doing to craft beer. Just what you do in life.
Yeah. How do you get that? How do you get them passport stamp, homie?
Oh man. Well, I work in software. The company that I work for is responsible for 95% of the Fortune 500's infrastructure and solutions that are used. And I would say the name, but they didn't give any ad money either.
Right.
But ultimately, you would find that you as an individual have come in contact with them probably a few times already this morning, this afternoon. If you used an iMessage, it's running on the same platform that the company I work for developed. You probably went to your fridge and pulled out something that was made by Procter & Gamble or Colgate or Unilever or ConAgra or any one of the few, and it's one of our customers. So much of my time gets spent going out and meeting with the customer and advising them on how to do business properly.
Mm-hmm. I've used that software for 15 plus years.
So in these days, has it been more pressure on your company in terms of because now I guess companies have to do even more with technology. Has that influenced affected I guess your role more now in these days?
I think the biggest change has been the way that we do business. And it's no different than anybody else with having to move virtually. I have an office in Washington, D.C., but I couldn't tell you the last time I've been in there. My people say, where's your job located? What's your commute look like? I sit in seat 3B on Delta. That's pretty much it. Most of my time is traveling to and from. So it's not that big of a difference, except for I got these 2 kids at home, man. And every now and then, I peek out of my office to see what they're doing. I see that they're, locked arm in arm with each other. And I'm not always certain if my son is giving my daughter a hug or my daughter is putting them in a chokehold. Somebody might be in the clutch. So, it's that sort of distraction that I think we all kind of have to deal with right now.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, everybody work from home is definitely different. Not even different, a challenge.
Yo, so they were saying you was international. Where you been at? Tell us the places that you've been.
Oh man, I've touched 6 out of 7 continents at this point. So all over Europe, from the UK to Prague to Russia to Australia, New Zealand, Fiji, Tahiti, South Africa, Ethiopia, Italy, everything.
When you be out, is it all work or you got some playtime too?
It depends. There are chances for me to get out if the trips are a little longer. Like the last trip I had right before the lockdown was Lisbon, Portugal. And it was a week-long trip. So in the evening, I got a chance to go out, explore the city, try out some beer. and really get a chance to feel the vibe and explore the culture. So that tends to be the best part, but it's not all glamorous. You know, some days you're in Paris, and some days you're actually in places like Birmingham, Alabama. So you take the good with the bad, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Now, since you've been starting drinking beer, once you do the travels, have you started venturing into the tap rooms and trying local beers as well in these different places?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. Whether it's in Munich or Berlin or Frankfurt, hitting up the Oktoberfest next time it comes around, or just exploring beer the way that Europeans do it versus the way that, you know, the folks down in like Brazil will do it with Pinga and stuff like that. It's really cool to see the different variations and the craft behind it. I think my favorite out of all of them is the honey beer from like Ethiopia. Those are probably my favorites.
Huh. All right. So like I guess that would be more in the mead family. You said honey beer, right? So is it closer to mead? Okay.
You would know better than I would, man. I just
we gotta see from our last week's guest, Passport versus Harlan. See who winning.
I know, yeah.
All right. Beaumont, Brandon.
Yeah.
Beaumont. What was his? What was it? Two truths and a lie. He said his like one of his answers was
he circumnavigated the globe once.
Twice, or it was
the lie. It was twice.
His lie was that he did it twice, right?
Yeah,
right. He did it once. Okay.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Here I am, just sitting in Delaware.
Sitting in Newcastle.
Hey, man.
All right.
Put me in the suitcase. Put me in the carry-on next time.
Delaware's home, man.
Are you bilingual? How many languages do you know? Do you have to know languages, or do most people overseas in your work speak English?
You know, you try to pick out the most common stuff that you're going to have to use on a regular basis. If you can say thank you, please and thank you, then you are leaps and bounds beyond most Americans that go abroad. And so if nothing else, you try to do that, especially with business. I think the only place where I've got caught up was Japan. And even though I picked up a little bit of Japanese, you need to have an interpreter because so few people in Japan actually speak English.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah.
I guess you got to know, do we got a deal in every language? Do we got a deal?
Do the deal.
Arigato.
They're not shaking hands anymore.
Right, but you got, because then you'll be looking like that commercial where he said, "I think we got it." Oh, yeah. See that one?
He said he's a hugger.
So you got to know at least a little bit.
Yo, so Harlan, in these places that you've been to, you ate anything strange from any places that you weren't like used to eating?
Oh yeah, I definitely had coronavirus a couple times. I'm sure. You know, I ate beetles in Rwanda.
Okay.
Enjoyed.
Do some Lowry seasoning salt on them.
That's it, man. You mix it up.
That Lowry.
Was it
good?
No, it was not.
Whoa. So this was a raw beet, like a live beetle?
So what they do is they take the beetle, they roast it on its back.
Okay, roast it.
Take the insides and mix it up kind of like a pate. And then put it back inside of the beetle, and you eat it like you would eat an oyster almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yo, you a nasty motherfucker, yo.
Yeah.
He was engulfed in the culture. He had to partake at least once.
But he didn't say he ate a beetle. He said he enjoyed a beetle the first time he said it. Was it good? It was good?
No.
Oh.
It's the whole experience, right?
Is it something that you can compare it to, that you can think of, like
pate, like goose liver pate?
Yeah.
Yeah, just not as gamey as like a goose liver pate.
Okay.
Like
I mean, I've had ostrich right here in Philly. I've had
ostrich burger.
I've had
that ain't a beetle, twice baked beetle, nigga.
But ostrich is pretty rare. Like, you're not gonna go to many restaurants and get ostrich, right?
You ain't gonna go nowhere here and get a beetle restuffed with its guts.
You'd be surprised. A lot of people internationally moving and opening businesses here.
And you know, the crazy thing is, it's almost offensive if you go somewhere and they offer you the food and you don't eat it, which is tough for me. In the last 3 years, I haven't even ate meat, so it's kind of like trying to figure out new ways to say no thank you, or I have a dietary restriction that prohibits me from eating the monkey brains with you.
Yeah. You just be like, nah, I don't eat meat.
You're a vegetarian.
What was that?
You're a vegetarian right now?
Closer to pescatarian with a few other restrictions like no dairy and that sort of thing.
Okay.
Pescatarian is no dairy, as well as
pescatarian is
It's
fish
like seafood.
and no meat, no red meat, white meat, none of that stuff.
Yeah. All right.
Well, let's
Get
switch
your,
over to the bourbon ambassador role that you play in the metro in the DC area.
Yeah, I somehow got stuck in the role of being the ambassador for Black Bourbon Society. It's a group of I guess we're at like maybe 14,000 members internationally that are enthusiasts of that American whiskey that is bourbon, and looking to change the landscape for how we as African Americans, as Black Americans, are marketed to by many of these big distillers and beverage companies, so that we don't always have to look like the ubiquitous Hennessy ad. So really just trying to change that landscape and have something that's more commensurate to the professionals that we see here on the Booze and Banter podcast.
Right.
Gotcha.
Right.
Gotcha.
Here's to that. What, how do you think that, I know you guys do the meetups, like your house, other gatherings outside or events outside of your house. Like what is you guys event planning look like now that we are quarantined? Are you guys kind of thinking outside the box and doing something similar to these Zoom meetings, or what do you think the future looks like temporarily for Black Bourbon Society?
It's been tough because a lot of the education comes by way of firsthand. It's going out and visiting the distilleries. Like, we had at the end of this month the Black Derby weekend, which is an opportunity to honor the history of those who are part of the Kentucky Derby that look like us, but rarely are spoken about, from the jockeys through to many of the owners of the horses that are raced in the Triple Crown. And with that being pushed back to September, we're now looking at ways to leverage Zoom. So we have the weekly happy hour every Friday. Every Wednesday we have an opportunity to get a new bourbon company to come in and just share a little bit with the group about what they're doing in these times, giving us some details on how their distillation and bottling process works for their particular whiskeys. And then outside of that, I think that the coolest thing that we've done thus far was we had a March Madness, and we pitted a series of bourbons against each other all the way through to Final Four, championship, and the whole nine. So that was pretty cool to see people to argue for their favorite bourbon, their favorite whiskey.
Do you remember who ended up in the Final Four, or who was the champion of that?
Yeah, it came down to it was a battle between an Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Elijah Craig Barrel Proof ranks in at the hazmat level in terms of proofing. It's like you can get a bottle depending on which lot it is. That's like around 140 proof. It was that versus I think it went up against a Yamazaki 17, which is a Japanese whiskey.
Oh, nice.
And Elijah Craig ended up winning.
Oh, nice. All right.
Oh, by the way, Elijah Craig was a monk that started out brewing beer. So there is.
So switch it up.
History lesson.
Yeah.
All right. So we do have one half of Pour of Baltimore. Phin is in the building.
What up? What up?
Welcome.
So we wanted to chime in with him and see what he's talking about, how he got started, the mission of Pour of Baltimore, all that good stuff.
So I'm gonna give another shout out real quick because I switched up to beer number 2
there you go.
from Elder Pine. It's like a farmhouse ale, pretty easy drinker, whatever. But yeah, my name is Phin from Pour of Baltimore, based here in Baltimore, obviously. Kind of like beer enthusiasts. Me and my friend Mario started it, and it's really not like beer reviews. It's kind of just like a promotion of craft beer, especially in Baltimore, but like in the state of Maryland. So like anything that's happening, we try and, broadcast it to people that don't know much about beer, people in the community that just want to know what's going on. And really what we're trying to do is just bridge that connection between like the customer and the brewery, especially with people that are like enthusiasts that have accounts online. There's like, you don't have to, it doesn't have to be like on one side and then the other. Like we can be just as influential in the craft beer community as the breweries themselves. So just stuff that we're trying to do, just keep people entertained and educated as well. So
almost like a, you know, kind of bridging the gap, like, you know, just making the connection. Almost what came to mind just with that comment was like the movie Uncorked, and how, you know, he was able to relate like the different wines to like, I don't know if everybody watched it, to like a Drake rapper or versus this. So you try to like educate people through just give some examples of how you try to like kind of connect people, consumers, I guess, would you say, with the craft beers? Like, how would you do it?
Yeah, sure. So one of the craziest things I realized, because I have a business background, is I get more relatable content through my stories actually than through the post. So on the stories, I can ask questions, sometimes controversial, but to get people's vibe and opinion, and to share that, to get the community to really feel what's the vibe that's going on. One thing that's always popular is like, how do you feel about like children or like pets in the brewery, right? So whenever we talk about that, everyone's got their own opinion. Everyone wants to share. And that's always just good content. And so breweries see that and they're like, okay, well, this information we want to take to mind. And then people chiming in see that and they want to contribute to the content. So that brings them in to stuff that's going on. And then people that aren't in the beer, especially like our community, I'm trying to bridge the gap, because I feel like it's an acquired taste just like liquor. So you didn't start liking Ciroc or Hennessy when you first tried it. It was a build up, and it was like the commercial background behind it that was making it popular. It's like, oh, this is something I want to try. And so we want to do that with craft beer, especially local craft beer, is that it's something dope to drink, and it's something you can appreciate with the community. And so stuff that we're doing in that kind of aspect, that's what we're working on.
Yeah, we found that kind of the uniqueness of craft beers, the same for us. Like we were at Fresh Fest 2019, we talked about that when we sat down with Smidox and some other independent breweries, of like having that up close and personal connection with the owner, operator, or brewer, of this entity, versus, you know, when we go to a club and you, like you said, you drop, you know, $100 or more with a Ciroc or Belvedere or one of those big kind of liquor brands. Like, how close could you ever be to some of those big, you know, kind of manufacturers or brand owners, where you can be up close and personal with, you know, like a microbrew or a special brew, to kind of know their story and how it all kicked off and how it got started. So that is, you know, to your point, that's, you know, keeping everybody abreast.
And I think the influence, we have a greater influence in Baltimore than like Maryland per se, because it's hard to get to every brewery that we can. But like in Baltimore, I think one of our goals that we're really trying to do is actually do a collab with a brewery this year. You know, COVID kind of threw a wrench in that, but we're still working on like doing a collab. And once people see our faces and like, oh, you got homeboys out here, they're really in the scene. So let me check what this is about. That can bring people in.
Phin, have you visited Union Craft Brewery yet?
Yeah. That's one of my regulars. Kev's a dope guy.
Kev, dope guy, yeah. We love Kev.
Go there for a lot of events. I'm mad because I was supposed to go to Fresh Fest last year. And then stuff came up last minute.
You missed it.
Missed it.
Yes, I was pissed. It's like the person that didn't get invited to the party. And then I'm scrolling through my feed and seeing like everyone having a good time. Everyone like this, and like, dang, like, let me look at flights real quick, see if I can still make them.
Yeah.
It definitely is a good experience. Now, Phin, how did you and Mario come together? Do you already know each other, or was it through craft beer that y'all got together?
No, so we knew each other for a minute, but we really didn't talk. But we were both kind of into craft beer. I'd be going to a lot of places locally, especially like when Guinness Brewery opened up.
Right here in Baltimore, the new spot.
Yeah, the new spot. And I've been for a minute trying to get him to like just come try some beers with me because I knew he was about it. And so actually randomly, we ended up meeting there. I didn't even know he was there. And no, we had like two or three flights, whatever. We had a good time.
Two or three
Bunch of beer,
Flights.
And so we ended up going to a few local spots. And I had run some social media accounts before. But Mario's actually the one who came up with the idea of like, hey, let's kind of run with our like love of beer and our promotion of beer in the community. And I was like, oh, let's see, where it's going to go. So we started the account, just simple stuff, just posting about like places we'd been, some beers. But then I was like, again, there's always more to do. We can reach out more and do stuff like that. So that's kind of like where Pour of Baltimore came up. And we're still working on ideas and branching out with other people to do stuff. I really love keeping like ties up with other like beer bloggers or whatever you want to call it, like in our community, just talking to them. Especially like, even if they have like 100 some followers, I never want someone to think like, oh, I can't talk to them because they got to set up like this and da-da-da-da-da. It's like, no, everyone's in the community. And I especially want to bring people like of us in the community. So just keep on working on that.
So if people are to visit Baltimore, like what would you recommend the top 5 breweries that they got to go to while they're there?
Well, I always ask, like, what are you going to the brewery for? Like, is it the beer, the venue, the food, like location? But in general, I'll give you a reference. Okay. So you mentioned Union. That's definitely a spot to go to because it's spacious, the vibe is chill, and the selection of beer is super dope.
And they
got a lot of like Baltimore staples, and then they got their own little experimental list, which is pretty dope. Second place is kind of right around the corner, Nepenthe Brewing. They opened up, I think this is like their second year or whatnot. That place, I tell people to go there if you want to have a beer and grab a bite to eat, because I think they hired like some like nation renowned chef or something like that. So they got like crazy cuisine in there, and it's like affordable too. It's not like a prime rib dinner or anything like that, but they got super dope food. Trying to think where else to go. A nice little neighborhood spot is a Suspended Brewery down in Pigtown. So it's in the hood, so you got to watch, just make sure you watch where you're at.
Right.
But that place is dope. Definitely minority owned.
Okay.
Both the owners are minority owned, and like the vibe is dope there. So you get a bunch of like the urban community chilling there, hanging out. And it's like the I can't think of it, but it's like the young urban crowd. So you get a lot of people that are entrepreneurs, people that are thinking of ideas and stuff. So you get that vibe of people that are really trying to push the agenda of progress, especially in Baltimore City, because we can use a lot of that.
All right.
Facts. Dang, what are the places I like? I'm trying to think like just in Baltimore.
No, the one that you talked about before, the one, I guess that was a renovated church. What one? Peabody? Yeah. Well, no, the one that's in a renovated church, is that the same thing?
Oh, I bet. Okay, so we just had a brewery open up. Ministry of Brewing. Definitely a cool place. So they renovated this church, and they opened up a brewery in there. So the place is massive when you walk in. And they still got a few like pieces of the church in there. So it feels like a Sunday service when you walk in, which is it's kind of funny when you're drinking beer or whatnot. But that place is dope. It's like right in the neighborhood too. So like you've got like right across the street, you've got houses here and there everywhere. So it's just a lot of the breweries in Baltimore are community based. So you'll definitely see like a lot of people that are loyal to go to their little spot. So whenever I go to a different brewery, I still see the same people. But that's a dope spot. I got to shout out Monument.
Oh,
okay, yeah.
I think I picked up a Monument.
We definitely had them on a pod.
Yeah, we had them on a podcast. I think I picked up one yesterday. I can't remember the name.
Okay, yeah, Monument City, they're dope. One of the owners, Ken. And like I said, there's different reasons why I like certain places. I love their beer too, but the respect that I get every time I'm there.
Yeah.
That's important.
I always appreciate that. He goes out of his way to come see me, talk about beers, what they're doing and whatnot. And again, that makes me feel like I'm more than just a customer, you know.
Right.
Thanks for your money.
Yeah.
I definitely get more of a vibe like
He treat you
him
like
coming to
Chick-fil-A.
talk to me about stuff.
Yeah.
He treat you like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, for sure. My pleasure.
Give you that
No,
top notch customer service.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Finn, do you ever
that
make it
makes
down
a
to
difference,
Jailbreak?
bro.
Mm-hmm.
Makes a
Do you
difference.
ever make it down to Jailbreak?
So I've been to almost most of the breweries in Maryland. I have been to Jailbreak a few times. One of my craft beer buddies he lives near there, so I'll check it out with him. Cool spot. I go there every now and then.
It's quirky, right?
I like it though.
Quirky.
What's your favorite out of state brewery? Out of Maryland.
Shout out to Dewey. They make good beer
Okay.
locally. I like that.
Delaware.
Yeah.
But I definitely like it all depends on like my beer vibe or what I'm drinking. I definitely like Decadent. I think they're out in New York. They make a lot of like sweeter beer and stuff like that, but I think when I try a beer like that, they always do a good job of it. So I'm down with that. So
cool.
And then Commonwealth, shout out to Commonwealth and VA.
Okay.
They make good beer.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, that was a good question about in terms of out of state, Lou, because I was going to ask, like, how does Pour of Baltimore travel or go outside of and
Don't
promote?
seem like he's afraid to take a ride.
Yeah, he ain't not afraid. So
Nah, I mean some of the places, going out in Maryland is like a 2-hour drive, so it's nothing to me.
true.
I always like trying stuff. I guess what's convenient is a lot of like the liquor stores here
Right.
are like craft beer oriented.
Mhm.
So they have a lot of like guest beers coming in and things on tap.
Okay.
So we had I think Levante.
Oh,
Yeah. Westchester. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, bet.
Levante,
Westchester
yeah.
come in. A few like the wine stores had a few places that came in. Some popular beer from New York. I can't think of the name off the top of my head, but Other Half, my bad. Yeah, Other Half came in. So I'm cool with beer out of state because of the blog and me trying to like keep up with everything that's going on. Sometimes I don't know what's happening outside of
Right.
Maryland. Even like them DC guys, like I'm like, yo, I ain't make it down there in like months. Like, sorry, bro. We got a lot going on over here, so it is what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. He's saying Baltimore. You see it? Pour of Baltimore, baby.
Yeah,
Right.
Nothing else. Nothing
I'm
else.
rapping.
I may go outside the county.
No, see, I be outside the county, so I go to Columbia a bit. You know, I definitely got some of my favorite like breweries in general out there too. But going back to like out of state thing, I talked to a few people like locally about this. It's like I love to see great beer from out of state come into Maryland, come into Baltimore. But does that make the local people step their game up? Because if they don't, it's just going to be saturated by this beer that's better, so to speak. And then people are just going to really want that, and that's going to choke out some of these smaller local people.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Speaking of that, like I'm seeing this wave of, because we're quarantined, I'm seeing this wave of pajama pants or, you know, that kind of theme kind of beer come up more by a lot of different breweries. You know, in their own way, weave it into their collection. But you know, I just see the marketing you know, kind of coming up more and more often, just since everybody is kind of you know, quote unquote boozing on the job, or, you know, just boozing around the house because they don't have a lot to do, and liquor store is considered essential business, you know, like other you know, manufacturing or other you know, business industries that are open. So what do you guys see? Like, do you guys agree that you guys are seeing a lot more of these you know, themes that are kind of centered around what's going on in craft brew or in what's going on in this current time?
I'll go ahead and start. Well, I think a lot of that is, especially now that you're squeezed financially, it's like anything I can do to make sure I'm relevant and make sure people are still interested in buying what I have to sell. Sometimes you got to be tactful about it. I've seen some things on like Worst Beer blog about like, oh, COVID beer or something like that.
Right.
Too far.
Yeah,
That's too far. I'm not drinking that.
Gotcha. Yeah, and so that will make people feel a certain type of way about it. But like, I think breweries, especially locally, I can speak on it, they've really stepped up with like introducing new ways of buying beer, like delivery.
Right.
Yeah.
Things like that. Making sure like their online inventory's up there. You can buy gift cards and merch.
Yeah.
And this is the time to just connect with people, because you have no excuse to be like, I'm too busy to get on social media and see what's going on. It's like you can still employ your staff to do stuff online or whatnot, or just give them something to do. But
something to do.
Right. Well, I think this wraps up our interview portion of our of our podcast.
Yo, that music always crazy, Sam.
Oh, that's
the game music.
That's my game music. I gotta start it off.
I got it.
Okay, I'm just making sure you know. I'm making sure. Oh, I lost my. It is time for the game we all know and love. See, make sure that your black card is still valid.
Intact.
It is time for a black card revolt, and most of them are pretty. I'll keep it easy enough. For the most part, most of them are going to be true, real answers, not majority rules. We might do one or two majority rules, but majority rules tend to
everybody's played this
else.
Game, right? Everybody's played this game, right?
Yeah, what I gotta like write down like A, B, C, like.
Well, I'm going to tell it to you. So okay. I mean, you don't have. You just gotta remember. I'm just going to say the question, and then I'll give you the A, B, and C, A, B, C, or D of the answer, and then you can just say it, see which one is right. So we start something easy. The first one is, after you stop and drop, what should you do next? A, shut them down, open up shop. B, put your hands up. C, roll. D, hand over your license and registration.
You know what I say?
I'm going with A.
It should be roll, but
that's definitely
roll.
Your card is revoked.
It should. Well, I would like to say roll.
if you said C, you said C, you're wrong. It is shut them down, open up shop.
Hey. Oh no, I would say roll. Roll.
That's all right, roll.
Shit.
See, that was pretty easy. Except for Lou. Lou got it wrong. No, sure.
It's A and C. It's a trick question.
It's not a trick question. Not in black card revoke. It's only one.
What if you're on fire? What if you're on fire? Are you going to fucking open up a shop?
Right.
Yes. Yes.
I just might, because I'm on fire.
If you're on fire, right? You're popping, so you're going to open up a shop.
You guys.
I need that business.
It's the best time to do it.
I'm going to be the white guy. I'm going to be the white guy on the show. Roll the number for 500, please.
Here's another easy-ish. Well, yeah, it's an easy one. If Young Metro don't trust you, what might Future do? A, call the police. B, shoot you. C, fight you. Or D, beat you.
That's B.
That's funny. That is hilarious. B.
There you go. If Young Metro don't trust you, I'm going to shoot you.
What might Future do? That's funny.
Here's something near and dear to my heart. Who wrote Lift Every Voice and Sing, the Negro National Anthem? A, Langston Hughes. B, James Weldon Johnson. C, Booker T. Washington. Or D, Maya Angelou.
B.
Damn, I don't know.
I'll make it a
He has a
Making a
board.
daily double.
Yo, whoever it was had a lot of time on their hands. That song long as a motherfucker.
That's like 6
James
verses.
Weldon Johnson.
It was Johnson, right?
Yeah.
Oh, so everybody went with B?
Yes.
I'm gonna go
Yeah,
because everybody
B.
else did.
Yeah, it is B. Shout out. Yeah, 'cause we had to-
who gave everybody the answer?
it is B. Shout out to my frat brother, because you had to throw it up every time we sing it at conferences. You got to throw up the sign.
I could sing the hell out of that shit, but I didn't know who wrote it.
Song.
Tell the truth.
Right. This is an interesting question. A fox, queen, and Smith cleaned up for a living in this movie.
A what?
A
Fox,
fox,
Queen, and a Smith cleaned up
and a
in this.
yes. A fox, queen, and a Smith cleaned up in this movie. A, Hoodlum. B, Independence Day. C, Set It Off.
Set It
or
Off.
D, Juice.
Set it off.
Set it off.
Set it off.
Oh, yeah.
Vivica
Vivica
Fox.
Fox.
Set it off.
Yeah.
Queen Latifah.
Yeah, Saturday.
Yeah.
Pink Smith.
And what was the other one?
And Jada
Took
Pinkett
me a
Smith.
minute.
Go ahead. Give us the answer.
It was Set It Off. See.
Yeah.
I miss the old
Day kinda
Vivica.
tricked me with Independence Day because it was 2 of them in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Vivica
It was.
was in
I
there.
almost picked that
Will
up.
Smith.
Yeah, me too.
And
I
I'm not
miss
sure
the
who.
old Vivica, man.
You missed the old Vivica?
Independence
do.
Day-
Yeah, her
Independence
skin
Day
too
1,
tight and shit now.
She went.
Her
She
face
went
is
Lil' Kim on her,
like
man.
peeled back and shit.
Yeah, she
Yeah, I don't
looked
like
crazy.
You know what?
reunion show host. Vivica ain't the best.
Yeah, she looked crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
I blame all of y'all G
Girl
Unit fans and
Vivica.
50 Cent for that one.
Same. Look, same with Lil' Kim. Woo.
no,
we ain't gonna talk about Lil' Kim.
she probably should have got
That's not a
counseling.
comparison. That is not
She
a
should-
comparison.
She should have got counseling.
Yeah, Kim is worse.
Yeah, Lil' Kim.
Kim looked like she looked like the what was that movie back in the day? Was that a Stephen King movie with the cat? What was it called? Like Sleepwalkers or something with all the cats in that movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it
Like a
Sleepwalker?
dead version of herself.
Sleepwalker.
A dead version of herself.
Yo,
Yo, wow, yo.
it's
She
sad
cast-
what happened to her.
Casket
Does Lil'
fresh.
Kim look alive to you?
Hell no.
Lil' Kim looked like a Chinese porcelain doll.
Yo, she looked worse
Nah,
than
man,
that.
Chinese
Big
porcelain dolls are cute.
Yeah, and she don't
She looked worse
good.
than that.
All right. If you mix Negro and Creole, what do you get? A, a bad chick. B, hot sauce in a bag. C, a Texas Bama. D, a good ass halftime show.
C.
C,
Is
Texas
this another
Bama.
trick question?
You get C. A
C.
Texas
Texas
Bama.
Bama.
Texas Bama.
Because C ended up doing D.
But the song lyric is
Yeah.
Texas Bama.
Right,
So
right.
C is correct.
Hey.
What was Eddie Murphy wearing in his comedy special Delirious? A, a suede hat. B, a Lakers jersey. C, a leather suit. D, Michael Jackson's Captain Crunch jacket. What the fuck is that?
I'm going with C.
C, the leather shit.
Leather shit.
Michael
was
Jackson
leather, right?
It was leather. I was like Lakers jersey.
What was he in
Yeah,
the-
Eddie Murphy's leather.
in the
for sure.
Captain Crunch
Leather.
Definitely was.
Yeah,
leather.
what's the Captain Crunch Michael Jackson thing? Like,
Some
Oh,
shit they just threw in there.
Yo, it
Yo,
was
that-
red
that
too,
diamond-
yeah.
That
It was
diamond
red
and bevel
leather.
jacket
It was
that
red.
Mike had though was
He had a black one
official.
on the first one, I think. He was two of them.
well, he had the purple one on, and then he had the red one.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
purple and red one. He loved leather back in the 80s.
that shit probably was hot as a motherfucker.
Hot and probably he
Yeah.
probably was chived, all kind of chaff.
Martin did
Chafed,
that.
chafed.
Martin had a leather shirt on. Everybody used to wear leather back in the 80s and 90s on their comedy special.
Yeah. He
They
started.
started to see the sweat.
Yeah, and I was so to show that you made it, like, yo, yeah, I got leather, son.
Oh, buying that leather.
Leather
Hey,
upstairs, man.
I'm going in the history bag here. Al, you remember when Dr. Denim was open on South Street?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Man, I copped these leather sweatpants. Sean John was from
Nigga,
there.
leather
sweatpants.
Leather sweatpants. Them boys cost me $4.50.
They can't be sweats if they leather, nigga.
You just had baggy sweatpants. You just had baggy leather pants.
Leather sweatpants. Dr. Denim back in the day.
Need to see the leather sweatpants. Nigga.
Oh, I hated to see them go because that leather was so buttered. Yo, man, that thing.
Quarter to the club.
Damn.
I wore them to the club and to the concert. I only got a couple wears out of them. It was the most ridiculous buy that I ever spent $4.50 for.
That's crazy.
$4.50 for them joints.
And a car payment on
Man, I tried to Google it, man. They all come up in women.
Oh, he's trying to play. Definitely trying to play.
That's not his price range.
Oh. All right, here's another one. If fish don't fry in the kitchen, then A, you won't get up that hill. B, you need to take them pills. C, beans don't burn on the grill. Or D, you better chill.
C.
Yo, this is like a SAT question. Every answer seems like it's C.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
I know it's a setup.
It is. Who is Prince Akeem's silky smooth rival in Coming to America? A,
You know who that is.
Randy Watson.
Harlan.
Tommy. Cleo McDowell.
Chloe.
The way it's spelled look like Chloe.
Right.
And D, Daryl.
Good old Daryl. Daryl thought he was doing
Always a
something.
nigga Daryl. It's always a nigga named Daryl.
He thought he was doing something.
Always a nigga named Daryl. You remember little Daryl from Christiana? Same thing, man.
Yo.
Always a nigga named Daryl.
Daryl came back with the rainy Jerry curl and the saggy roses for the sister at the end. Remember?
Yo,
She ain't care.
Yo, you can always fake like, yo, as long as you say Daryl, you can always fake like you know a nigga. Yo, do I know you? They be like, nah, you don't remember me and Daryl? And they be like, oh yeah.
Everybody knows a nigga named Daryl.
All right. Just one more before we move on. Oh, wait, not one more. Here it is. Oops, nope, that's not it. This is pretty easy. Actually, no, I won't move that because it is mad easy. Okay, here is the last one. Who is not a fly girl on Living Color? A, Jennifer Lopez. B, Tisha Campbell. C, Carrie Ann Inaba. Or D, Rosie Perez.
B.
Going with
the C.
Tisha.
I'm gonna go with Keisha Campbell.
Yeah, Tisha Campbell.
Tisha Campbell. She went one.
Tisha
Nah,
Campbell.
her mouth was too
I
wide.
don't think I know this one actually.
It is B, Tisha Campbell. She was not a fly girl.
Yeah.
I didn't know Carrie Ann Inaba was a fly girl, though. Huh.
I don't even know who that is.
I don't even know who
She's
the hell
on
that is.
Dancing with the Stars. She's the judge on Dancing with the Stars.
Wow.
You dance. I see you
I don't
dance.
watch that shit.
She also, I think she was either Paula
He showed
Abdul.
it doing it.
She was also a Paula Abdul or Madonna. One of them. She was either Madonna or Paula Abdul's dancer as well. The little Asian lady. Never seen her. I mean, everybody know Rosie Perez and Jennifer Lopez is.
And J-Lo.
Right, yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I didn't know Rosie Perez was a fly girl though.
No,
Yeah,
what?
I do
Yeah.
remember that.
She was
You
like the
remember
hit
that?
of them, right? She was like the hit fly girl.
I think she was the
She was the
main
starter, right?
one.
Starter.
Yeah, she was the main one. She was the
Yeah.
she did that joint.
Yeah.
Was she throughout all the seasons, or was she early, late? Like
It was early.
Yeah, she was probably
You
probably
don't remember
start.
her those spandex and she was
Yo, I remember her.
I just
Working it.
At the beginning to do the right thing.
Yes,
None of the
sir.
fly girls
Yeah.
places.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on,
Yeah.
come on, baby.
I remember,
Come on, baby.
and obviously I remember J-Lo.
Right.
That's one of his favorites, guys.
That's right.
'Cause you
Money
saw
Train, J-Lo, baby. Money Train.
His favorite movie.
Saturday and COVID-19, J-Lo.
Yeah,
Great.
I loved
amazing.
Money Train. That was a good movie. Solid pick.
God bless her and what she does.
Since we're finishing up, I wanted to ask real quick. Someone explain what's the difference between getting your black card revoked and then getting uninvited to the cookout. Someone was asking me that. Someone was asking me that, and I want to hear everyone else's opinion on it.
I think it's kind of similar, right?
Yeah, I think this is.
I don't know. Who cooked the greens? Did Shirley cook the greens?
Or who made the potato salad?
Potato salad. You can't let
greens and potato salad.
Only black people can get their black card revoked, but white people can be invited to the cookout.
That's what I said. Good point.
Yeah, that's good. Because it's not a lot of black folks getting uninvited to the cookout, but they can get their black card revoked. But you definitely don't want to invite Karen because she makes potato salad with the raisins.
With the raisins.
which is
no raisins at the cookout.
Which is funny because there was an article that said some white women think Karen is synonymous with the N-word. I was like, what?
Real quick, on potato salad, there's all these different, types of potato salad. Are you guys more of the deviled egg or the American or the Amish potato salid?
I'll taste it, just don't have no raisins in it.
Yeah, no raisins.
You'll taste
But
it.
you know what? I had no raisins.
No raisins.
No raisins.
Sure.
I don't want no raisins. I don't want no apples.
Apples,
no fruit.
No
They have
carrots.
grapes in it too sometimes. Like what's
Grapefruit?
Grapefruit.
No, just grapes.
Oh, great.
Oh, I
That's
don't want no
I've seen
fruit.
that in chicken
No
salad.
fruit.
I don't want no
chicken
fruit.
salad.
Yeah.
I don't want no fruit and mayonnaise or Miracle Whip, whatever you use.
Right.
That doesn't mix.
That Amish potato salad be hitting. Got that little spread of mustard up in that thing. Gotta have that mustard in there.
All right.
Look, Rob, he's like, I don't know the difference. I don't know the difference.
Rob, no.
All right.
That's my another game show because it's time for Name That 90s Hip Hop, if you can. 90s hip hop. Everybody, we're all versed in 90s hip hop.
Yeah. Let's see
I
who
would
come
like
out
to
on
say-
top. Let's see who come out on
As long as it
top
ain't
today,
Bone
Rob.
Thugs.
Living
We're gonna
life
play
with
That Bone Thug shit. We're done.
We're going to play all Bone Thugs.
all Bone Thugs.
All Bone Thugs. Just for Harlan.
We playing
I only can name 3 songs.
Hey, that's all you need. That's
Out
more
of
than
6 questions.
that's more than Dipset, but we'll pass. Keep on going. This is the
That's how you treat your guests, man.
we'll start out easy.
Asking me by.
Okay, I do know this one.
Far side.
Far
That's one
side.
side.
Yeah.
Right there.
Time keeps on passing me by. Okay, yeah, I know that.
Pass me by.
All right, that was pretty easy. And then we'll start off with one of my favorite songs. I'm not sure why, but maybe it brings me back to my college days, but it's one of my favorite songs in the 90s.
Hey.
Off the books.
I don't know who it was though.
Off
Who was
the
that?
books.
Beat Nuts, right?
Beat Nuts off the books.
It was
yeah.
Beats the Nuts.
Yeah.
It was Beat Nuts, but it wasn't off the books. It was called Watch Out Now.
I thought it
Was
was
it?
off the books
I thought it
too.
was off the books back in
So watch
sure?
Out
Now,
Now.
off the books was the one that Jagged Edge sampled.
I'm looking at it right here. It says
What's off the
Watch
books
Out Now.
then?
Off the books was a different song. Off the books was the one Jagged
Oh
Edge
yeah, off the
sampled.
books is a different song. Yep. Now
Is it? Damn, I thought that was it.
See, y'all don't know y'all.
We off the books
90s.
this year.
Uh-oh.
It's the same fucking song. I'm tripping.
They must have both been produced by Premier.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Probably.
They could have just blended them 2 shits together and made one long song.
Right. It probably was.
Just cut this one off at 3 minutes and use it for another. Listen.
All right, here's no, I'll go with this one. This is easy.
Van Dam. You see what kind of
Hey.
Oh, Black Sheep.
Black Sheep.
What's the name of the song?
Flavor of the month.
Flavor of the month. Who said it?
Okay.
Who said
Man
that?
in the middle.
Was it Harlan?
Yeah,
Oh
Harlan.
man.
All
Yeah.
right.
The old guy.
The old head.
Yeah.
All right. Here's another one. It's probably kind of easy if you true fan. Sorry.
Oh shit.
Shaolin Shadowbox?
Oh,
Hey,
that
Wu-Tang, that was it.
I forgot to start it off like that. I forgot.
And
But
the
it-
Wu-Tang sword style.
I should have won up first.
Oh, Ruckus.
They sung that chorus a lot in the beginning. Like, so you gave the song away early.
Yeah.
Right. They start that shit off. Hype.
This is definitely an easy one. Everybody should get this one.
Hey.
Round
and round.
Yeah.
I get around.
I get around.
Get
So
around.
that
Get
song is
around.
totally different from when I was 13 and it came out. That shit, bro. No 13-year-old should be singing that.
Mind blown.
But who was it featuring?
It was
Shock
Oh,
G.
Shock G and
Shock G and Tupac, right?
And
Money B.
Just Digital Underground. You said Digital Underground.
Yeah.
What was Shock G and the other dude? Who
What's
the
the
other-
other
Money
little
B.
nigga?
Money B.
Money B.
Money B.
No. Yeah. This is easy. This is easy for sure.
Note that I get around.
Hey.
I got 5 on it, Looney.
Looney.
That's us.
The Looney.
Us. Yeah, that's what it became. Yeah.
Yeah, that is.
They my niggas. They my niggas.
Here's one that people will admit that they enjoyed, but probably did. They probably sing the word, but they won't admit it now.
I can't even hear it.
No, that's the snow. No.
Why did it sound like
What?
that? I couldn't even hear it.
I don't know if I'm fine over this end.
What you did?
I'll play it
heard
again.
I heard a trumpet or a saxophone.
It sounds like
I'll play it one more time.
yeah, that's Informer. It's
The what?
Informer by Snow.
Yeah.
Oh, Informer.
I couldn't even hear it, yo.
Can't hear it.
Oh yeah, okay. But
Okay.
it's like real. It sounds real crazy though.
The
Oh,
white
sound
boy
crazy on
in
your
the 90s, yo. Him and Vanilla Ice, that battle was crazy.
Now Vanilla Ice
That's the next
houses on
Instagram
HGTV.
versus.
Well, they don't got 20. They don't got 20. So
That should have last 2 minutes. You gonna play
I think that's the only song Snow had was Informer.
Damn.
They just do remixes or something.
Right.
Finn, it's only 3 songs. They only got 3 songs between the 2 of them.
Here's everybody's favorite record.
Wake up, wake up, wake up. It's the first of the month.
That's right.
You notice only one person that they knew that song.
I was waiting. You said your faves. I was waiting. If they didn't show up in your faves, I was gonna give you shit.
Hey,
Harley,
Devin.
Harley, you know you love that song.
I
Go
know,
ahead,
nigga. I don't even know why you playing.
I like the Dipset version. Which there is one, by the way.
They don't know nothing about it.
Yeah. Well, here's one of my favorite MCs.
Hey,
Fat booty.
This fat booty.
That booty, most
This
definitely.
fat
Y'all seen Bay?
Yeah, there you go. Most
Yeah.
Def, or
That was
Yassine
good.
Bey, as he is now known.
That was
Is he allowed back in the U.S. yet?
Yeah, because he was at Dave
Dave Chappelle's.
Dave
Mark Twain
Chappelle's
Award.
Mark Twain joint. I was watching that. I guess there was a documentary on Netflix. I was watching that last night. It was actually pretty good.
That's dope. Yeah.
Yeah.
what was the documentary?
Dave Chappelle being honored for the Mark Twain Comedy Award.
Okay.
Mark Twain Prize at Kennedy Center.
Mark
It was
Twain
actually-
is a comedian.
No, but I think it was just his humor, I guess. So it's like a humor award or whatever. But yeah, it was like so it showed Dave Chappelle and his friends at the comedy club where he started, and also at the Kennedy Center. So I went back and forth with that. It was actually pretty funny because they tell stories that he probably don't want you to tell. But once you up there, you be like, shit, what are you going to do? Stop me? Like, yeah, Dave take a lot of drugs, and we take them together. Because Aziz Ansari said, like, yo, yeah, we did some mushrooms together. Shout out. It's good. So I recommend watching the.
While he's sitting next to his
I'm
mom.
gonna check that out for sure.
Right. He's sitting next to his mama. He's sitting next to his children. His wife, huh?
What is that on?
It's on Netflix.
Netflix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, well, that was off. I'm not sure why they even put that on there, but and here's another one.
Outcast.
Who's that peeking at my window?
Hey.
Elevator.
Yeah.
I was thinking.
And you,
Yeah.
yo,
Yeah.
mama.
Fuck other than your girlfriend too.
Like one of the greatest Outcast songs.
on 6
Yeah. Elevators.
up, slamming Cadillac door.
Like them
Yeah.
sweet cigarettes.
I think they probably do get slightly above Wu-Tang for me, but it's close. It's close. Outkast
There's
is.
only two of them.
Yeah, I know.
Like 1,000 niggas in Wu-Tang.
It's still a group though.
Yeah, but I don't count some of those off-brand cats. Like when you get,
Like Capadonna.
yeah, when you get to You God
That's what I'm
and
saying. That's what I'm saying.
Capadonna.
Outcast, every verse, it was at least 2 bars in every verse. You like, yep.
Only
Capadonna gave you a whole album.
Only the niggas with a verse featured in Protect Your Neck.
only the ones that
Yo,
are featured.
Protect Your Neck was a shit
And
too.
only the ones that they showed in the Hulu special are the only ones.
That was on a tiny desk.
Yo, matter of fact, Capadonna never made an album cover.
Because he was in prison, I think, at that time. I think,
Yo, that nigga-
and he also probably was not a great lyricist. But yeah, that's the only ones I represent. I don't. You got. He okay. He's not as bad.
He's
as
somebody's
Capadonna.
cousin. He's
Triumph
somebody's cousin.
was the only good verse.
Here's everybody's favorite song.
What?
You can't touch this.
Oh shit! I gave it away earlier.
Yeah. Immediately.
Moving on.
Nah, what song is that?
Just to be clear, Pumps in the Bump was way better.
Hey, are you gonna be a little bit
I
taller?
wish it was a little bit taller.
Elo.
The artist.
D-Lo.
Bilo.
Oh, there you
Elo.
go.
That's right.
Yo,
That's it,
He
Lou.
went to Sixers game a couple months ago.
Yeah, he was. I was at that Sixers game.
Yeah.
He performed that.
I wish it was a little bit taller. I wish I was a baller. I wish I had a girlfriend and I would call her.
Oh, that you made that worse than what it was.
Yeah, you sound like a punk. Yo,
The song was bad, but you just made it like horrible.
he sound like he was at the Sixers arena.
Next.
Back in the Soul Brother. Rockin'
Yes.
smooth.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Hip Hop and extraordinaire.
Dang, I know you
Like,
put that right up.
He's like, I'm still bumping that right now.
Yeah, I was going to say that's in that nigga rotation right there. Because he got that on the back.
And Yoda was 3.
I'll take that.
Yep.
That's how you- That's how you get about it. Think about
I'm cool like that. I drive like that. I roll like that.
Yeah, that's right.
We
I'm
out.
black like
Attention,
that.
all
We out.
ladies. The Candyman is on the
Candyman.
prowl.
Is that Funky
Hey,
Cole Medina?
who that? Eric B.
Turn local on
What's that?
Don't
But
wanna
it
get
was
busy.
Candyman, right?
You got to speak up now.
That's baby,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. What's the name of the song?
Knocking the boots.
Oh, knocking the
Knocking
boots.
the boots. There you
Yeah.
go. Yeah. All right, we got 2 more before we wrap.
Two more?
Shit. Yeah,
I think
2
the only
more.
one I didn't get was that Bone Thugs one.
Yo, this nigga's a hater. Oh my god.
And he probably just deleting it right now. He's like, damn, I did shit on him, so I got deleted out my playlist now.
Yeah. He gonna turn that shit on as soon as we get on the podcast. He gonna be in there.
Watch me.
There you go. Now you can get that one.
Damn. That sound like everything.
The whole 90s. It was the whole 90s.
Yeah, that sound like everything, boy.
Yeah, that thing looked like cross color.
Yeah.
I can't give you too much more.
Nigga, that sound like TLC. That sound like motherfucker.
Dang.
It's hip hop. It's hip hop though.
I don't know, man. That sound like everything in there.
That sound like Eric B and Rakim or somebody.
But once you hear his voice, it would give it away. So
Run the beat back again.
What is it, Big
Run
Daddy
the beat
Kane?
again.
Start from the beginning.
You see that black man over there? Bring him here.
Oh shit.
Chuck Rock.
What song is that?
It's called Organizer.
Organizer.
Heard that song.
I wasn't
never
gonna do
got
his
that
top one. That would be too
How
easy.
many songs Chuck Rock got? That was not one of them.
Yeah,
That was one of them.
That was
I would've
one.
got
That beat was not.
So that would have been too easy.
I done got that. Yeah, that's easy.
So that would have been too
There
easy.
you go. There go that
You
dance.
need to
Everybody's
come up
being the
like
thing
a
like
Slammer Jam.
Yeah, damn. I see.
Here's the last one, but it's everyone's favorite jam that they won't admit to liking.
Bump in the bump.
Oh, who that?
Hammer.
Who that? Chris Cross?
MC Hammer.
No.
No.
None.
It sound like bump in the bump.
It do sound like Pumps in the Bump, but no, that's not
Feel like
it.
another bad creation.
Yeah, like some shit like that, or Chris Cross or some shit.
Play it
No.
again.
Wait,
Say it again.
play it back.
Keep playing it.
I don't know.
Got him.
Yo,
I don't know.
Damn.
Whoa,
Everybody stopped.
Wait.
That sound like the theme song to Double Dare or something.
That could have been it. I'm gonna admit the beginning of that sound like every song.
Yeah, it do.
I know that one.
It do. It sound like every song like that.
More bounce to the ounce.
But the answer is actually I'll just play it. Here we go.
Yeah, just play the
I'm
rap.
just finishing. Songs was long as shit in the back of the day.
God damn.
Oh, when it goes to rapping. Oh, Coolio.
There you go.
It's Coolio.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have got that. I wouldn't have got that shit. I hated Coolio. I wouldn't have got that shit.
What?
You know you love.
I think
You
it was
know
Big
you love,
Fantastic Boys, right?
Yeah,
Coolio was
Boys.
fire, man. Coolio was
Right.
fire. You're bugging.
Slide, slippity slide.
He know he love. You know to love that song. He acting like
Yeah, right.
Coolio, there's no crazy bone.
Right. Oh, there you go.
Yeah, there's no crazy bone without
Coolio,
Coolio.
Full Touch, and Harmony is like the same people.
come on now. You
Pretty
know
much the same thing. I think
everybody
he
was
did.
singing.
He
Coolio, Full
was
Touch.
like the ghostwriter, wasn't he?
I think
Didn't
so.
Coolio ghostwrite
Yo,
for
Yo, Harlan, shut up. Nigga. This nigga's a troublemaker, yo.
But he goes to the crossroads. That's messed up.
Probably.
I did not know that.
He did not.
Yo, Harlan just be trying to start shit.
Tech Nine.
Yo, if I find out they had a ghostwriter, oh my God, their career is over.
Well,
Why would
that
career be over?
yeah, because a lot of people got
Everybody
ghostwriters.
got ghostwriters.
Back then, a lot of rappers had
I mean, a lot of them do, but
It's
I
already
mean,
over.
you were doing like you were just pumping jump. Actually, you picked Tootsie Slide.
what I picked?
Tootsie Slide
Yeah,
last week.
Tootsie Slide. Oh, I know Drake has ghostwriters.
Which is funny though, because when people on TikTok, if you go to TikTok, you see Tootsie Slide, and they doing that dance, and then somebody said, "I think you're all doing it wrong." And then when you listen to the song, you are doing it wrong. He is talking about the moonwalk. He is talking about the moonwalk.
Yeah.
I'm like, he is. Left foot, right foot up, left foot slide is the moonwalk, and so it's all the Michael Jackson things in the song. I was like, third eye is open on that guy.
That's
Whoever.
Canada is way
I like
too close to Ohio, man.
All right, well,
Before we wrap up, I just got a question for y'all. Did any of y'all watch Bruise Brothers?
Watch what?
Bruise Brothers on Netflix? It's about a brewery. Check it out.
Oh, Bruise Brothers?
Yeah.
Like Blues Brothers? Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's dumb as
it's
a
a movie.
No.
Yo, it's a series, but it's dumb as a motherfucker, but it's funny.
That's probably dumb as Coffee and Kareem. Did you watch that dumb thing?
That's like that. It's like a comedy thing, right? On Netflix.
Yeah,
All right.
it's funny.
Okay. No, I haven't seen it. Is it funny?
Yeah, it's like one of them dumb funnies.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. I bet.
Yeah.
That was like, it was either coffee and Kareem or Kareem and coffee. One of them. I think it's Kareem and coffee.
Kareem and coffee.
Yeah, that was dumb. But it had like Taraji P. Henson in it.
It's the bruising thing.
Huh?
I mean, how many episodes
How
is
many
it?
episodes is the bruising thing?
I think it's like 7, I think. Like 7 or
It's
8.
one season so far.
Yeah. But
Alright.
Check it out.
They're only,
It's called-
they're only 30 minutes long, so it's a quick watch if you want to check it out.
It's an actual sitcom, not a documentary.
Yeah, it's a
Tiger King.
sitcom. Nah, it ain't. That's weird shit. No.
That shit.
Oh, you ain't like that?
I'm just
Nigga,
saying how it became popular. Like it just is weird how things become popular.
Yeah. Nigga, that shit is weird. That I don't even want to talk about it. Them white folks got me shook.
All right. Before we wrap up, I want to thank our guests for joining us today.
Thank you for hanging out, guys. Appreciate
Yeah.
For hanging out.
Thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
I don't know what sign was that.
Oh, you know what sign it is. Stop playing games, man.
What's that?
Stop
The bird?
playing
That's
games.
bird. That's
Stop
bird
playing
game.
games, brother.
Nah, nigga, that's bird game. The bird.
Buy a new pie to the day I die, man.
Before we go, I do need to know where we can find you brothers on Instagram. If you want to give us that information, we can start with Alan. Alan, if you want to start, where you can find you on Instagram and all the others, and on any other social medias and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, it's all good. I'm Arigo215 on Instagram. Yeah, follow me. My page is private, but I know who you guys are. I'll let y'all in.
I'm already in.
You already in, yeah. I think, you and Robin's already in. But everybody else, and I'll follow y'all right back.
Harlan?
Next.
On Instagram is DRobBM, DROBBM. I have Facebook, but that's really just for the old heads.
It's kind of
yo, you can't laugh at that.
grandma.
Yo, because the kids be like, yo, y'all be on Facebook? Yo, that's for old people. Yo, that's the first thing my daughter say. Yo.
Well, that's what they always say. I mean, at first Facebook was only for young folks, and then because you had to have a college ID, college email address.
Yeah.
They opened it up, and so it works like that all the time. I mean, because they jump from Instagram, now they're on TikTok. So when TikTok gets played out, they'll jump to somewhere else.
Something else.
They'll be back to Instagram.
Yeah. All right, Phin.
Yeah, it's Phin. Instagram handle Pour Baltimore. We're on Facebook too. It's Pour Baltimore. Facebook being funny about it. And then we're actually on Meetup too. Is Pour of Baltimore, that we try and do some events with some of the locals around there. So yeah, just check us out. pourbaltimore@gmail.com if you want to be official and send us an email about whatever. Just let us know. Yep.
Cool.
Glad to have you.
All right, fellas.
I'll go. You can find me 302 Yoda on Instagram and Delaware on Grind on Instagram and Facebook.
You can find Devin Aaron on Instagram at DevinAaron_the_great.
For all your beer needs, Lou Belgium. For all your t-shirt needs and the margin tees, I am on them Instagrams.
All right, and you can find Bruising Banter Podcast at Bruising Banter Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Make sure you check us out on Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you listen to podcasts. Remember to rate us 5 stars only. Until next time, this has been episode 60.